voorwerpen voor JP gisteren?
James obviously had to digest this one, but what would you put it down to? Especially, I mean, the idea to go short up front to the guys who've played that short ball so well from the Test series until now.
To be honest, I don't think they have played it very well. Look, it's going to come down to execution of our skills, right? So if we execute a plan well, it's potentially going to work. But unfortunately, at times with our plans in place, we didn't execute as well as we have liked. I still believe and feel that the plans are good, but especially when it's a shorter format, you have to execute well. But no fault to them. I mean, we tried. Unfortunately, a few missed opportunities throughout the innings, but you know, we'll definitely come back stronger. I firmly believe that.
JP, do you think? Just to follow up quickly on that one, you speak of having tried JP, and I think those missed opportunities, there just seems to be a lack of commitment from the guys at some stage, or one way or the other. Their heads are dropping, the body language from the field, explicitly when you're standing from afar.
Well, look, at the end of the day, that's you guys are going to have that opinion. I honestly don't believe that we are dropping our heads, our body language is bad. I honestly believe we were pretty good in the field today, bar the missed opportunities. Look, naturally, when you put down opportunities, there's going to be some sort of moping around, and you got to try and get yourself back up as quickly as possible, especially in a big game like that, a big player as Virat Kohli. So you're gonna feel a bit down, and I think it's only natural as a human being to feel that way. But you know, in professional sport, you got to find a way to get back up, and I thought, you know, within a few balls, we certainly did, and we stuck to our plans in terms of what we're trying to do. Again, it comes down to execution, so that's something we can improve on.
Yes, and then Stuart.
JP, what did you feel like after the switch of innings 200? I mean, it didn't look like a batting pitch. Did you feel like you restricted them well after they got off to a flying start, or what would you feel?
Yeah, look, I thought it was a pretty decent total to chase down, especially at this venue. As you mentioned, a pretty good pitch. You know, if you look back to where they were at 8 overs, they were 100 after 8 overs. So at that point in time, you're probably looking at 220, 240. And I thought the way the guys came back was exceptional. So I was pretty happy with chasing 204. Again, unfortunately, you know, from a batting perspective, that's been our Achilles heel throughout this Indian tour, from a short format point of view. So again, as senior players, we have to take responsibility for that. As senior batters, we have to take responsibility for that, and we got to look at ourselves in the mirror and see how can we improve and how can we be better. So hopefully we can improve that come Wednesday.
Yes, Stuart.
JP, just can you take us into what the bowling plan is, particularly early on in the power play, and did you feel that your guys executed whatever the plan was?
To some extent, yes. Look, the plan was always to try and take wickets. You know, I was pretty happy if they had 60 or 70 after 6 overs, but at least we had 2 or 3 wickets down. I felt if we were in that kind of position, I felt we were in a strong position, especially at a venue like this. And I thought they were 70 for 2 after 6, so I wasn't too unhappy. Again, the mindset and the plan was an aggressive one, and in trying to take wickets. And with that, there are going to be times where you're going to leak a few boundaries, and you know, that was the kind of mindset and chat that we had out in the middle.
Sorry, just to follow up on that, but in terms of sort of lines and lengths,
Yes.
so India adopt something specific, which was about, you know, keeping it relatively straight, maybe off. Where was South Africa's plan in that respect?
Again, that they executed very well in their plans. Our plans might have been slightly different according to their batters. Again, you know, where we've come short is probably assessing conditions as quickly as possible. Again, that was our plan. If you look back to how Rohit got out, that was a plan that we put together, and it came off. Against other batters, yes, we leaked a bit. But again, India, they're very simple in their game plans, and they execute very well. You know, we're trying to find something where that we can adopt and understand what's going to work for us on these kind of conditions against their players. And unfortunately, at times we haven't executed. But again, you know, I think we're moving in the right direction in terms of execution.
JP, as you said, the problem might have lied with the execution. Would you, like, in hindsight, think that two experienced fast bowlers would it have been too much to expect them to keep bowling short with lower third lines and to execute that plan?
So were you referring to
the
experience?
The two inexperienced opening bowlers.
Oh, inexperienced.
Yeah.
Look, at the end of the day, yes, they're inexperienced in terms of international cricket, but they're very much experienced in terms of domestic cricket and what they've done at that level. I think, in terms of their standard for themselves, they've got a high standard in terms of their execution plan, and by no means am I blaming that, right? At the end of the day, as I mentioned earlier, the batting has probably been our main Achilles heel throughout the series, and that's something that we have to take on board. Especially in a format like this, you're going to leak runs at times. So even though we went for 200, as you mentioned, the way we started and the way we came back, there's lots of positives to take out of it.
Could you have changed that midway, like third 3 overs in? Could you have changed and gone to plan B?
In hindsight, there's always that. If it had worked, we wouldn't be having this conversation now. So, but yes, there's something to look into, for Wednesday, definitely.
Yes, Crystal?
Can you tell me your thoughts on what was your thoughts when that 4th wicket stand batsman and Visa was going strong?
Yeah, they gave us a chance in the game, and especially in this format, we know that wickets in hand, you give yourself you give yourself the best chance to win the game. Unfortunately, in an ideal world, we'd like to have extended that partnership, but again, you look at the situation of the game, we probably needed about 14, 15 runs and over, so they needed to up the ante and they needed to take the game forward. Unfortunately, again, never came off, but I was very proud of the way they went about it. I mean, to see Reza playing a handful of games and the way he performed under pressure was exceptional, and those are the kind of positives that you want to take out of it, and us as players and teammates want to feed off that kind of positiveness. So hopefully we can take that into the next game.
JP, Bhuvneshwar Kumar took 5 for 24 in the sort of match-winning performance, generally bowling a fuller length.
Yes.
Do you think that says something about to the South African bowlers? Do you think in general maybe they were a bit too short?
There's something to look into, but I think if you look at his first 3 wickets, it was slow balls. And unfortunately, we, at that point in time, including myself, were trying to be aggressive and trying to look for the boundary. Came down to the execution of the shot. But he's a skillful bowler and has been around in this kind of format for a long period of time, and he's been successful in this format. And the type of bowler he is, he's best suited when he's pitching the ball up and using his bag of tricks in terms of this format.
That's the last JP. Khalid, yes.
JP, so like you said, that it's the batting that failed, and it's a lot of the senior batsmen that haven't been stepping up. I mean,
Correct.
In the previous ODI series as well, we saw Andy Klassen do really well, and you guys coming and really expressing themselves. What can you as a senior player learn from them?
Just to be free and to go and play your game and stick to your game plans. At the end of the day, everybody has a particular game plan, and it's either going to come off or it's not. You're going to go through periods in your career where you're going to go through slumps, be it a senior player or a new player. And unfortunately, throughout the series, quite a few senior players have come up short, and including myself, it's been a dismal ODI series, and obviously today as well. So again, you've got to find a way to get back up on your feet and try and fire again on Wednesday. That's all you can do at this level. You don't have a lot of place to hide. You got to front up to it and understand that you got to step up and try and put in those big performances that you can do.
Can you give us some insight into that game plan?
Whose game plan?
On the senior players and how you guys are going to...
Everybody's different. According to the bowler that you're going to be facing, everybody has strengths and weaknesses. Everybody is going to back their strengths, and there are going to be times where your strength is going to get you out, especially in this format. And as I mentioned, there are going to be times when you go through slumps, and a lot of us are finding ourselves in that, unfortunately, at the same time. And the way India have played, and they've dominated us throughout the series, a lot of their players have stepped up, senior players have stepped up and put in those big performances.
JP, what's the idea of sending Andile in ahead of experienced big hitting batter like Chris Morris?
It's pretty simple. There was a short boundary to the one side, so you got to give yourself an option to try and use that short boundary from both sides. So if you have a right-hander, obviously from the one side, and the left-hander from the other side.
Yeah, we've been seeing South Africa normally is known to catch everything under the sun. We've seen that. But of late there have been a lot of drop catches, high catches. Like today also there were a couple in the ODI series we saw Rohit Sharma getting a drop, and there were 2-3 other many catches like Markram did, at the same time you have some catches which are should be taken somehow.
Look, the standard that we set for ourselves, we no doubt feel that we need to take those opportunities. But the game of cricket is that when you're down and out, there are certain things that don't necessarily go your way, and those kind of things tend to pop up. It's not a lack of practice, it's not a lack of determination and motivation to try and do well. Unfortunately, it just hasn't gone our way, and I can guarantee you the guys will be out there tomorrow and the next day trying to correct it. But at the end of the day, when you're under pressure, you've got to make sure that you execute, whether it's with bat, ball, or in the field. And we pride ourselves on that, and we definitely want to get that right next time around.